My name is Colleen and this is my kitchen. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. After trying every diet in the book without any success, I came to the realization that diets don't work. I started my journey at a size 26W weighing just over 300 pounds. In almost a year and a half, I've lost over 120 pounds and I am a size 14. No W. What's my secret? Eating healthy and moving more. Now I'm here to show you how you can cook healthy food without compromising on taste and lose weight just like I have. Because if I can do it, you can too.
Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. When the weather starts turning cool, there's nothing better than a warm pot of soup. And so tonight I have a really great soup for you. It's not an easy weeknight meal. This is something to prepare on the weekend when you have a little more time. It's going to take us almost 2 hours total to prep and cook this dish. But the end result is absolutely worth it. It starts by roasting cauliflower. And by roasting it first, we're going to bring out all the sweet, earthy flavors that are found in cauliflower through the roasting process. So to do that, we're going to give that cauliflower a little bit of help with some spices here. First, I'm going to use a tablespoon of curry powder. Now, if you want to vary this recipe up, try using a couple tablespoons of chopped fresh sage instead of the curry powder. It's just as good, gives it just a little bit of a different flavor. To that, we're going to add a tablespoon and a half of olive oil. And by adding the olive oil, it helps the cauliflower roast up really nicely. And let's go ahead and add just a small pinch of coarse sea salt and some freshly ground black pepper. We're going to whisk that up, and you might wonder why I'm doing this in such a large bowl, and that's because I'm just going to cut the cauliflower right in here rather than creating a couple of different dirty dishes. Okay, so now what we need is a whole head of cauliflower, and it doesn't matter how you chop this because eventually this is going to get pureed up. You do want it in kind of smallish florets though. So what I'm going to do first, go ahead and take a section off here, and let's remove all these greens. We don't want those in our soup. And you just go ahead and chop it up, add it right there into my marinade. Just like that. So once I have that chopped up, I'm just going to move it around in this marinade until this cauliflower is nicely coated. Now you might see some recipes that call for more olive oil, and with a little bit more oil you will get a little bit better roasting process. But I don't like to add too much oil because it just adds fat to the dish. So by using just a tablespoon and a half, like you saw me do, it's just enough to get it nicely roasted without adding too much fat to the dish. Once I have this all coated, takes a little bit to get it nice and evenly coated here. But once I have that done, I'm going to turn it out onto this baking sheet here that I greased with a non-stick olive oil cooking spray. Put it in as best of a single layer as I can get it. And I have my oven preheating to 400 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and bake this up for about 30 minutes until it's nice and golden brown. Our cauliflower has roasted up nice and golden brown. You can see it's still steaming here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off that oven, and now we're going to move it to the stove. Before we puree it, I'm going to actually want to simmer it in some chicken broth. You can also use vegetable broth if you want to make this vegetarian. I'm using 5 cups of a homemade chicken broth. And what I want to do is bring this to a boil with the cauliflower in it, and then reduce it to a simmer, cover it, and let it cook for about an hour. And the reason that I do that is because it's going to retain the roasted flavor of that cauliflower, but it'll make it really nice and tender, so it purees up really easily with no chunks in it. It'll be nice and smooth. My cauliflower has been simmering away for an hour. It's perfectly tender. It's going to blend up really, really nicely. So I have my blender out, and I have 1 cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. And what this is going to do is it's going to add some creaminess to the soup without adding any fat. And you don't want to use more than a cup because you don't want to add too much tartness. By using a Greek yogurt instead of a regular yogurt, it'll be a little bit thicker. It also has more protein in it, and so since there's no meat in this dish other than the chicken broth that I've cooked it in, it'll give us a little dose of protein. The other thing that I'm going to add is a little bit of tahini sauce, and what tahini is it's kind of got the consistency of a peanut butter, but it's made from sesame seeds. So it's going to add just a little bit of nuttiness to the soup, also add a little bit of protein and help with the thickness. Now I'm just going to use 1 tablespoon of that. Just like that. Now, because of the size of my blender and the amount of the soup here, I'm going to have to do this in batches, probably in 2 batches. And the one thing to be careful of is that hot foods expand. So you don't want to fill your blender all the way full because that liquid is going to expand when you blend that up. So I'm going to fill it about 3/4 of the way full. I put about half of the Greek yogurt in it. Again, you use 1 cup total. And I want to puree this until it's nice and smooth. Once I've pureed all of the soup, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in my pan and heat it back up just for a few more minutes. And that gives me time to go ahead and prep a little bit of a side salad to serve with it. So we'll come right back and show you how I serve this up. Let's go ahead and finish this soup off here. It's reheated really nicely. This recipe, by the way, is going to serve 4 people at about 1.5 cups each. Here's my nice, creamy, roasted cauliflower soup. You can see the flecks of color in it from that roasting process. And I love to finish this off with just a dash of smoked paprika. It's very important to get the smoked kind, not the regular kind. Just like that. Makes a nice, pretty finish. Adds just a little bit of hint of flavor to it. And then I also love to serve this with a tartine on the side. Tonight I'm using wheat bread with raclette that I've melted on it. Raclette cheese is very smooth and nutty, and it just contributes lovely to that cauliflower. So I'm going to go sit down and enjoy my meal. I hope that you'll give this a try. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time in my kitchen.